We all know that FC25 comes out on many different platforms, but not all the platforms are created equal. You've got your next-gen platforms like an Xbox Series X and S and a PS5, PC as well. And then you've got the older-gen platforms like a PS4, Xbox One, and then there's also a Switch version, which is a little bit different again. Today we're going to take a look at the next-gen exclusive features. These are the features you can get only on next-gen platforms like a PS5 or PC or Xbox Series X and S. And we'll just see what differences there are between the old-gen and the new-gen. If you do enjoy the video, please leave a like for me and make sure you subscribe for more FC25 videos. One feature that's exclusive to next-gen consoles is the Anfield Tunnel cutscene. So pretty much when you play a game against Liverpool or with Liverpool, if you watch the full match intro, you will see this Anfield Tunnel cutscene where the players are in the tunnel and then they walk out.
Well, Derek, we can talk about coaches and their methods, but it's now down to the players. Which ones are going to stand out, who will affect the game, and who will have the greater desire? It should be a cracking game, though.
On the PS4 version, there's no tunnel cutscene. The players just walk out. You don't see that special cutscene that's only on next gen. On next-gen consoles, there's also graphics modes that you do not get on an old-gen console. So in terms of favor resolution here, you can play at full 4K and 60 frames per second. But obviously on a PS5, the graphics and visual effects will take a little bit of a downgrade to accommodate for that native 4K. So you can see in the description there, it says that you'll just get standard lighting. Now, if you're happy to play at like 1440p or 1080p, you can put on the enhanced visuals, which is going to give you ray tracing, enhanced lighting as well, and other graphical upgrades and features. If you play on an old-gen platform, you do not get these graphics modes. A new console known as the PS5 Pro came out. There's been a few people that have actually played FC25 on this new console, and these are basically the changes, just in case you were wondering. So now you get native 4K resolution and 60 frames per second all the time, no matter where you are in the game. You do not have to choose between enhanced visuals and favor resolution anymore. That setting is not there on the PS5 Pro version because it doesn't need to be there. Essentially what the PS5 Pro does is combine the two settings together. I've got some more details here. So game intros are now 60 FPS. They're 30 on the PS5. Replays are now 60 FPS as well. Free kicks, corner kicks and penalties are 60 FPS now. I didn't even know free kicks, corner kicks and penalties were at 30 frames per second. Celebrations now are 60 FPS. So in the normal version on the PS5, the celebrations were 30 FPS. And according to some people online gameplay is now smoother, sort of like a PC version, less heaviness and delay. One thing that's a little bit of a downside is that the gameplay is still 60 FPS. There's no 120 FPS mode. Lighting is so much better on the next gen version of FC25. Take a look at this comparison. The first minute to the 90th minute, you can see that the lighting, or the shadows I guess, have changed. It depends on what time you're playing matches in the game, but let's say you're playing like a 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon match, you will notice that throughout the match the lighting will change and even the shadows are going to change as well. You can see that there's a little bit of a difference on the grass there in terms of the shadows between the first and 90th minute. If you play on an old gen console, it doesn't matter what time of the day, the lighting will not change and also the shadows will not change as well. The way it starts is the way it's going to end the match. You won't notice any movement or any changes in the shadows or lighting on the old gen consoles. Lighting in general is just going to look better on the next gen consoles. Take a look at the PS5 version. The lighting looks much better, more natural, a little bit brighter as well. And then you take a look at the PS4 version and it doesn't look as good. It does the job I guess, but it's not as nice to look at as the PS5 version. Pitch wear and tear is more prominent on the next gen consoles. Take a look at the grass in this photo. This is the PS5. You can see that there's different patches along the grass where it looks chopped up. Maybe people are doing slide tackles or just running around. The PS4 can have some sort of pitch wear and tear as well, but it's not as noticeable, not as prominent. I think the next gen version had a lot more wear and tear, and it's just nicer to look at, I guess, as you play the game. There's another feature called off-ball humanization. What does that mean? Well, it's basically the little animations and movements that the players do when they don't have the ball. So you might see them put their hand up to call for a pass. You might see them jogging on the spot to warm up during the kickoff. You might see them put their hand up if they do a bad pass. If they concede a goal, you might see a few players put their hand up or put their hands to their heads. Some might even fall on the floor. These are all different little movements that they do while they don't have the ball, and it's stuff you might notice as you play along. I think for the old gen consoles, they do have a little bit of off-ball humanization as well, but this feature is going to be more prominent on the next gen consoles and platforms. You won't see as many animations on the old gen consoles, but I think they do have a few. So take a look here as we kick off. The players on the field are doing individual movements. Some might be stretching, some might be clapping, some might be jumping up and down to pump themselves up a little bit. We've got some more examples of off-ball humanization. You can see when a goal goes in and the player is not close to the goal scorer, they'll sort of celebrate on their own. They'll do like a mini animation, which is like a celebration. Anyway, I'll put some extra clips here so you can take a look at them. The next gen version has better net physics as well. As you can see with these examples, when the ball hits the back of the net, you've got 3D nets and it looks very realistic, very nice. Different types of shot power and types of shots will affect how the net moves. So you'll see the ball pop out of the net sometimes or also stay in the net, but overall the whole movement looks very nice. I took a look at the old gen version and the net physics are there, but they're not very good. You can see that there's better net physics when you play on the next gen platforms, but still you do see some movement in the nets on old gen. It's not too bad, but of course the next gen version takes it to the next level. One thing that's going to be better on next gen is of course the loading times and the menu snappiness. So if you're in career mode, for example, it will be quicker or feel quicker to switch between tabs. If you go to the calendar, and I know there's probably a few people that like to do like full-on calendar sims, it should fly through these a little bit faster than if you were on an old PS4. We've got matches playing at the moment. We've got transfers enabled as well in the background. And you can see that the game is pretty quick in terms of simming through the days. When you get to a match day, it should be quicker to go straight into the game. You don't have to worry about the game loading up the match. You can just skip the intro and it loads up straight away within 1 or 2 seconds. And of course, just booting the game up as well will be quicker on the PS5 because of the SSD versus the old hard drive in the PS4. It still takes a little while because it has to connect to the EA servers, but it's still quicker than an old gen console. Clothing is better on next gen FC games because when a player moves around, as you can see, the jersey and the shorts start crinkling up. They move realistically with the player's motion. There we go. So as the player moves around, you can see that the shirt moves and the pants. It's not something you're going to notice, of course, as you just play normally, but it's there. It's a feature. You might have this on the old gen as well, but it wouldn't be as prominent. I think the clothing fits more realistically on next gen as well. On the old gen version, you do have a little bit of cloth movement, but I think it's much more prominent and realistic on the next gen version. This is just sort of like the basic version of the feature. On next gen FC games, you also get better grass. So take a look at this. As the players do steps, dribbling, you can see that specks of grass start flying in the air, which means that the field is getting chopped up a little bit. You can see some there behind the player and right under his feet as well. I think the grass overall just looks better on next gen as well. On the old gen version, you don't really see grass flying up in the air when the players do touches. Thank you to my channel members Chris and Callum for your support. If you want your name featured here, just sign up using the link in the description. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like for me. Make sure you subscribe for more episodes and hit the thumbnail in the middle to watch another FC25 video.